while hearing petitions challenging its own order on removing stray dogs from public spaces, the Supreme Court of India made one very piercing observation today, something that many people think but rarely say out loud. The court asked, if compassion is the argument, why only dogs then? Aren't the lives of chickens, goats, cows also lives? And if we draw lines for one animal, where do those lines stop? This case is not just about dogs, it's about how a society decides whose life counts and whose fear matters. More or less defined by the Supreme Court, while it hears petitions against its own order asking for dogs, stray dogs to be moved out of public spaces. On one side are citizens, parents, patients, elderly people afraid of being bitten, chased and cornered. This Supreme Court has highlighted this. This is a real grievance that people have put forth. And on the other side are, of course, animals who feel abandoned, abused, beaten, poisoned. Both fears are real, both are unresolved. During the hearing today, the Solicitor General raised a very blunt question. If dogs can roam freely on the streets and schools and hospitals, what really stops someone tomorrow from claiming the same rights for any animal, not just dogs? Chickens, goats, cows can also roam around just like stray dogs, according to court. What if someone says, I want to keep a buffalo in my house then? So, senior advocate Kapil Sibal argued for empathy, asking for animals to be treated kindly. He said that if animals are treated well, then they won't attack. If we invade their space, then they will get violent. But the bench wasn't convinced that empathy can replace certainty. Justice Vikram Nath put it very plainly. He said, this is not just about biting, it's also about threat. How does anyone know which dog is calm and which dog is aggressive on a given morning? The question that goes far beyond the courtroom is, how does a child judge a dog's mood before school? How many kids have been bitten? How does a patient outside a hospital decide what's really safe? Now, other countries were also cited. In places like Japan and United States, abandoned dogs are taken to shelters. If not adopted, euthanasia is permitted. Japan has had no rabies deaths since 1950, but India is a very different case. Sibal has suggested that similar situation, in fact says, catch the dog, sterilize, vaccinate and release it back to the same area, which is ideally what all animal rights activists argue, that this is the right thing to do. But that is exactly the model that the court is now questioning, because stray dogs remain unpredictable according to court. Says that you don't know which one is calm and which one can get aggressive. You don't know which one will really attack. Animal welfare groups, meanwhile, painted a different picture altogether. Senior advocate Colin Gonsalves told the court that women who feed dogs are being harassed and assaulted. Dogs, he says, are being poisoned, beaten and suffocated. So, according to animal rights activists, this order that the court had given has now led to more abuse of these dogs. And what about that? That's the argument here in court. Now, in many neighborhoods, according to the activists, they say that people are acting like night guards, where they're trying to either chase away dogs and, alert when humans sleep, basically trying to ensure that dogs are safe. The court is hearing everyone now, lovers and haters alike. It has already swung both ways, first ordering dogs removed from institutions, then softening the order after protests. Well, if empathy is the solution, who measures empathy on the streets really? If danger is subjective, who takes responsibility when something goes wrong? ABC rules do exist, sterilization models do exist, but it's not followed to the T, and that's exactly why we're seeing a situation like this pan out. So maybe the failure is not compassion, it is civic collapse, and the court knows whatever it decides next, someone will have to pay the price for it. Let me bring in our guests joining us. We have our animal rights activist, Aniruddha Ravindra, who's a co-founder of Prana Animal Foundation. We also have B.S. Vora, President, East Delhi RWA Joint Front. Thanks both of you. B.S. Vora, your take on this, as the court says, then we should allow everyone. Look, the only argument here is that if dogs are going to be vaccinated, sterilized, back on the streets, in their territory, they are not violent. So why should we forcefully move them out of spaces where they're familiar with? Moving them out to shelters would mean they're going to be abused and whatnot. So if they're peacefully cohabitating with humans around, why is there a problem?
See, the court has rightly said that you can't predict the behavior of strays. Maybe it's stray dogs or stray animals, whatever, or stray cattle, whatever they are on the road. But seems we could not even predict the behavior of our fellow citizens who look more supportive and more sympathetic towards the stray animals and stray dogs. And that looks a bit shocking. The earlier order was to shift all the dogs to the shelter homes, and there was hue and cry from all over. Then the later order said, shift the dogs at least from the institutional areas to save those people who are visiting, because most of them are newcomers there, and to shift at least from the institutional areas. But even that point is being contradicted by why to shift and on the CSVR. We have no problem with CSVR, but the problem is till the time we get some achievement out of the CSVR, don't you think that we must take some precautionary measure to save the precious lives of human beings? That's the main cause. And one more statement today I have read is that they want to reflect a mature and responsible society towards the stray dog menace. But don't they think that they must look mature and responsible towards the humans also? At least 37 lakh dog bite cases and 18 to 20,000 deaths due to stray dogs rabies, and 99% attributed to the dog bites. And besides that, there are lot and scores of accidental injuries and deaths. There must be some balance to be maintained, and at any cost, let all the animals, all the strays come on the road, and let there be a jungle on the road. If the people think that's the way, it's okay for all of us. Let the people die of dog bites or other strange accidents or incidents. But for us, there must be a balance. A balance must be maintained, and court has rightly said that you can't predict the behavior, and it is by chance or by luck that you are chased by a dog, you are bitten by a dog, you get rabies, or you get an accidental death or injury. Some precautions and conditions are must to take into
And that
consideration
would mean
at this
clearing
moment.
dogs from public areas. That's your view.
At least from the institutional areas, if not from your streets.
Okay, Aniruddha, would you be able to clarify for us? Can an elderly person or a child really assess a dog's mood? What if and can a calm dog turn aggressive? You never know when a dog can change its mood. I'm not too sure. You could tell us the
No, that
real
is the
feature
thing.
of a
That is the point.
yeah.
Point we are talking about. Like when we talk about the mood, I don't understand the word, how the word mood came into the whole scenario when it came to the morning walking and all. I don't think that rightly came out. But the thing is, what happened? What happens is dogs are usually aggressive when they are lactating, or when they are, when they have gone through a trauma, or these kinds of things. But by the way, coming to the point where Sir said, the city will become a jungle. Recently, like around 3 days back, I had been to Delhi. So Delhi is actually very compassionate. They have people there, giving them coats for the dogs. There are jackets put on dogs near toll roads and all. So if they are being so compassionate and they are asking them to take them, even if we talk about the institution, taking the dogs from the institution, do we have enough space to do that? I don't think we have. And the other thing, we are talking about the money. Where do we get the money? Is Sir going to pay money from his pocket? CSVR is the right way. We are still a developing nation, not a developed nation to put into some shelter. And again, there are going to be a lot of crime. Forget animal welfare. There is going to be a problem with human welfare itself tomorrow, because we are going to pay high taxes for this. That is what was today presented. It was not about compassion. It was not about empathy. What all we spoke about, those were hardly 2 lines. But Advocate Colin, Senior Advocate K.K. Venugopal sir, Kapil sir, all presented the facts. The facts, the scientific evidences, the economical evidences, what we have. Is it really going to be possible to make such things? The better thing to do is CSVR. Probably like 1/4 of the price, what we are thinking about. We are talking about 30,000 crores, 15,000 crores, whatever the number is coming up. And if you have listened to Dr. Anurupa, she clearly said that the rabies bite cases are unaccounted. So the
No,
data what we have
my
today are
question
just
is
being
also
checked.
sterilized dogs. Don't sterilized dogs bite?
It calms down a lot. It calms down a dogs, and definitely there is going to be a solution in this. If it is going to be a positive thing, even animal welfare people don't want aggressive dogs on the road. So we are trying to act on something. Even when on August 22nd, when the verdict came, aggressive dogs should be taken to the shelter and it should be given some kind of treatment, or it should be followed up, or whatever the order came. If there was an expansion on that, then it would have been, we wouldn't have discussed
So
about
what is
pesticides. We
your
would have
take
worked
when what is your take when court says then what about goats and chickens? Even they have lives. Even they
see,
should not be
then
restricted.
definitely, see, me being an animal welfare activist, so I can easily tell, okay, no, tomorrow we don't need chicken and goat. But is the industry going to survive if we do that? See, animal welfare has to balance out both human welfare and animal welfare. It is not about just saying that what about goats, chicken, or whatever cattle is there. We can't just keep talking about it. We have to address the issue which is happening right now. That is the stray dog issue or the stray cattle issue. What is happening? There
Yeah,
are
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of accidents happening on highways.
No, no.
So address those issues rather than talk about goats and chickens. We will come to that. If they have to come to the point where
No.
if they are,
The argument was goats and chickens also can then be allowed freely on the streets. Then why only restrict?
they are not free ranging animals, right? If goats and chickens can be free ranging animals, I think country is not developed. Then we automatically become an underdeveloped country where we have chicken and goats on the roads, and the ruling party or the opposition party are not worthy to taking forward. That is what happens if we're talking about chicken and goats on the roads. So you can keep a buffalo, and a lot of people are keeping buffalo as their pet. So I don't think that is a problem. Or cattle as their own. I have a cattle. My friend owns a cattle. So that is not a problem. I don't think that owning them as a pet is an issue at all. But keeping them on the roads, probably we are losing it. The system is failing.
Okay.
That is what
All
I
right.
say.
All right. That's it. That's all I have here. Thanks very much. I really appreciate both of you, Mr. Vora and Aniruddha, for joining us.